this was a house built by Marjorie Merriweather Buss, the richest woman in the United States, probably the world, and her husband, E.F. Hartman. When Hartman talks, people listen.
People listen.
And he was a great genius on Wall Street at the time. And they built this together, and this is one of the great houses in the world. And Palm Beach actually likes me because they saved the greatest of all their houses. And they had 8 massive mansions, somewhat like this, not like this, but somewhat. And they were all torn down and made into 12 mansions, 12 little smaller mansions. And we saved this, and actually, what you see here, I built. A lot of people think this was built as part of the house, but we built this, and this is now, believe it or not, it's 19 years old. And a lot of people thought I built it for the wedding. The first event was my wedding to our great first lady, Melania. Everybody told her that after the wedding I'd rip it down and take it down. They said, "Are you crazy? Why would I have to take it down?" And I think we raised more money for charity and political things than any other ballroom probably in the country. But it's been a great honor to be associated with this whole place. And it's a great honor to have all of you here because you're really special people and keep fighting. It sounds like the enemy is coming. Not the Taliban, it might be the Taliban using one of the jets that we gave them. So how about that? How about that? We'll shake that again out within 21 years. I had it all done. It was 19 years, we were going to keep on, but we're there for like 21 years. It was time, right? It was time. And now one of our people was killed for 18 months, and I spoke to the head of the Taliban, and I said, listen, Abdul, if you do any more killing of American soldiers, because they were knocking them off the snipers with, like you wouldn't believe, during Obama/Biden. If you do any more, you're going to be hit like you've never been hit before, like almost nobody has never been hit before. And he said, yes, Your Excellency. We had a very good couple of talks. He said, Your Excellency, why, please tell me, why do you send me a picture of my home? You send me a picture of this home. I said, you have to figure that out. Soldier killed in 18 months. Even Obama said that. He shouldn't have said that because that was a good thing, not a bad thing. I kept waiting for like a punchline. They're screaming at him, don't talk about that. And he said, we didn't have one soldier killed in 18 months until this tragedy of an election came. And then after the election, they killed 13 soldiers and badly wounded many and left behind hundreds of people, maybe much more than that, but left behind hundreds and hundreds of people. And left behind also 85 billion, I rebuilt the military, $2.5 trillion, and rebuilt our nuclear force. Hopefully we don't have to use it, but we had better than anybody, including Russia. But we rebuilt our entire military, but we left $85 billion. Nobody knows what that even means. Think of it, 700,000 machine guns, rifles of all kinds. Night goggles, the best in the world, thousands and thousands of night goggles. And then the Taliban, they're good fighters. The Afghans are very good fighters, among the best. Just ask Russia, because Russia went through a lot. Now they're going through something pretty similar, it looks like. But they have night goggles that are the best in the world, latest model, better than what we have, the latest model. But 70,000 trucks. You know what 70,000? Mike, if you owned a big used car lot, if you had 50 trucks in there, it would be a lot, right? 70,000 trucks. And most of those trucks are armor plated, so they cost like hundreds of thousands of dollars, probably millions of dollars. Some of them heavily armor plated. And then they were very nice after we left, they had a parade down one of their crazy streets. And they were displaying some of the great, beautiful armor they got. And it was the opinion of the Biden administration, it's cheaper to leave the equipment than it is to take it. And I said, really? It's cheaper to leave a $100 million airplane than to bring some pilots there and have them flown out and just fly this shit out of there?
Yeah.
They gave some of them to Russia, and they gave some of them to China so they could take them part of it and say, oh, we can build them just as well now that they have it. We gave $85 billion worth of the best equipment in the world. And that's really, I believe, when Putin said, I'm going to go in because these people are so stupid. But he would never have gone into Ukraine with me, and he knows it, and everybody knows it. Actually, the other side even said it. Sleepy eyes Chuck Todd last week. I meet the fake press. And there was another on, let's see, yeah, all of the shows had it actually. I think all of them. You know what they asked? They asked one very simple question. They say, why is it that none of this happened during Trump? They didn't attack. They weren't even thinking about attacking. They didn't attack, and he understood we had a very good relationship as relationships go. And he understood he can't do the Ukraine thing. And President Xi understood he couldn't do Taiwan. We had on the Face the Nation another show that's a fake show. They asked one of the people, and it was Blinken, why is it that none of this stuff happened with Trump? And they couldn't really answer. But think of it, that's when I believe that Putin decided to go in. And now you have bombers flying over Taiwan. Now, the one good thing is that maybe when President Xi looks at the disaster that Russia's having with Ukraine, because who would have thought that was possible? That was supposed to be like a one-day deal. And it's not turning out to be a one-day deal. They're fighting hard. I was the one that gave the javelins to them. Did you ever hear the expression, Trump gave the javelins and Obama gave the blankets? And pillows, but I'm not going to mention that.
Mike Lindell, my pillows.
But, and they're good pillows too. But they say Trump gave the javelins and Obama and Biden gave the blankets, and that's true. So all of the damage that they were able to do is because of the things that we got down. But if you look at that, and if you look at the open borders that you people for Arizona are suffering just about more than anybody. And nobody does anything about it.
Nope.
Nobody does anything. We have hundreds of thousands of people coming in a week. And I really believe, Gary, it's not 3 million people like they say. I think it's 10, 12, 15 million people. Yeah. And you haven't seen the big months yet. We haven't even come to the big months. The big months are coming. We are poisoning our country. We're destroying our country. There's nothing good that is going to happen from this. You know, they talk about the American dream and giving people opportunities. Other countries, 129 countries were represented last week of people coming in through the borders. And other countries, if you look at what's going on, look at the people. Look at the people. They're being released from prisons. I used to say the 3 countries plus Mexico. No, it's not. It's from many, many countries all over. They're being released into our country. They don't want the jail population. They don't want murderers in their country. They want to get them out. They don't want the cost. It's cost for years and years. They're going to have to take care of these people. And these are seriously tough people. These are not your average prisoner. These are prisoners that you don't want to see about. They're destroying our country. Jails are being emptied out all over the world into our southern border. And they're just walking into our country totally unchecked. And they talk about disease and they talk about all of the things. Now they just got rid of the one thing that really stopped them very well. And you know, I think right now, they just walk in and you can't do a damn thing about it. We did stay in Mexico, they overruled it, then they won in court, meaning we won in court. And they did a watered down version of stay in Mexico with us. When you came in, you had to stay in Mexico. And if, Paul, right, if you happen to go through a lot of different things and you qualified, we'd let you in, but it was a very small group of people. As soon as they came in, they ended that policy, and now they ended the policy of all policies. So anybody can come in. And by the way, if you're sick, if you're in bad shape, if you have contagious disease beyond even the China virus or COVID, as some people call it, you just don't know. Just come on in. You know, they make everybody else wear masks and mandates and all of the other stuff, and yet if you come in through the Mexico border, you just come in. And I said to Mexico, you have to do me a favor. We need 28,000 people on the border. We need your army. Your army has to protect our country. And if they don't protect, we have a problem. Well, we're not going to do that, absolutely. And the people in the State Department said, you can't ask for a thing like that. It's ridiculous. I said, how much do you want to bet I get it? I said, we'll bet anything. We've been trying to get protection from Mexico for many, many years. And a person, a woman that worked there was actually good. I said, give me a list of 10 things that you want. I said this to Border Patrol, who are incredible heroes, by the way, and ICE. Give me a list of the things that you most want. And they gave me a list of 10 things. I said, give me 10 things. I mean, how much can I get? Give me 10 things. So they wrote the 10 most wanted. I gave it to the State Department, the woman that handles Mexico. Very good woman. She laughed. She said, you're not going to get any of this. We've been trying to get it for 25 years, as long as I've been here. I said, what do you want to bet I get every one of those things? And one of those things was 28,000 soldiers. It was just one. We had even better than that. And she laughed. And she said, you're not going to get that, sir. She was respectful, but she said, so 25 minutes later, the representatives came in from Mexico. And I said, here's the list of things that we want, including we want 28,000 soldiers. So he's looking at it, and he's laughing, because they never did anything. He said, no, we can't do any of this. I said, he's going to do it. They said, why do we have to do it? Because if you don't do it, we're going to put a 25% tariff on everything sold from Mexico to the United States. He's sold out of our country for the last 30 years, you know? They have 32% of the business that we had. They took 32% of the automobile business out of this country, and they brought it into Mexico. So you're going to have a 25% tariff on Monday. This was a Friday. I'll never forget. On Monday, you're going to have a 25% tariff imposed on every single thing that's sold in the United States that comes across the border. That includes your massive numbers of millions and millions of cars that you screwed us with by stealing those companies and bringing them to Mexico. We have to get a drink. And they said, the only thing that was tough was getting it written down because we had people that couldn't type too well. That took much longer than getting it. Getting it took me about 5 minutes. But getting it written down on paper, I said, get the damn thing done before they change their mind. So we had 28,000 soldiers for free. And they did a great job. And we had the lowest number in history. And I was informed today by somebody at the State Department, I never heard this before, that we had a net negative immigration coming through the border for the last 9 months of our administration. In other words, we had a net a really good person works with the State Department said, you know, you had a negative immigration at the southern border. First time in history that that's ever happened, recorded history it's ever happened. And I said, that's great. I mean, I never heard it. I said, write it down because I'm going to say it, and if somebody's wrong, I'm going to blame you. But he wasn't wrong. I went and checked the facts, and he was right. But we did a great job. We were energy independent. We rebuilt our military. We cut taxes at a level that nobody's ever gotten before. We came up with so many right to try. That's where many people are living today because instead of having, you know, we have the greatest labs in the world and doctors in the world. And instead of going through and going to Asia and going to Europe and looking for a cure, we now have the right to try our great medicine. Great. They've been trying to get it for 54 years, so it sounds easy, and it wasn't, because the drug companies didn't want to take the liability, and they didn't want to have it down as a failure. If somebody's terminally ill, they didn't want to have it down as a failure. The government didn't want the liability of being sued because they gave them the wrong medicine. And all of these different things, they said, fine. The person taking it will sign a document that they're not going to hold the drug companies liable, they're not going to hold the labs or the doctors liable, and they're not going to hold the United States of America liable. They're going to sign saying they're very sick, and they may not make it, and they probably, because these were mostly terminal people. If I told you how many people have lived because of what we did, we got it done, and they're very happy to sign this document so there's no liability because some of them won't make it, and some of them don't make it. But a lot of them have, because we have things that won't be approved for 5, 6, 7 years, although we have cut it from 12 years down to 5. But it won't be approved for a number of years, and now those people are living, and they didn't go to Asia, and they didn't go to, a lot of people go home and die because they have no money. Now even people that don't have money can get access to this treatment. And it's so we did a lot. The taxes rules and the regulations. We did a lot with a lot. But one of the great things that I believe will go down on my record, I was right from the beginning. I was in charge of this brilliant lady standing alongside of me. I said, you gotta learn, you are going to be so good. And I don't know if I helped her in her decision or not. I think Jeff probably did it maybe more than me. But I will tell you, and he's an incredible man. But I will say that I think that's going to be one of the great things that I've done, endorsing a woman and helping her get elected. And I think she'll go down as the greatest governor. I don't know where the hell I'm going, but I can tell you.
4 more years.
This is something that is so important for your state. She's brilliant, and she's got the whole package, and she's going to be a fantastic governor. Thank you for supporting her.
Yeah. Thank you, President Trump, for the kind words. Arizona loves you. America loves you. We're going to see a little more President Trump. Thank you, President Trump.
Sorry. Thank you. That's not how it goes. Quick glance at the camera. Well, actually, my hand.
I never really also Savannah Ray performing her single debut right here in just a few minutes. She's coming on with her guitar. Give it up for the greatest president in our lifetime, President Donald J. Trump.
I don't know Trump, but I'm going to be sure.
We're so blessed to be here with so many guests tonight and having President Trump with us in this beautiful proclamation. And we're so blessed because we're all patriots. We love this country. And Savannah Ray, who did an amazing job with the national anthem earlier tonight, is going to come back and play her new hit, which I think will be a whole hit. Savannah, tell us the name of this.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, POTUS.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Donald Trump.
Thank you, I love you.
Hey, got a handshake.
Stop.
Taking it around, getting it, and just letting it respond. Right in the arms, so loving the song, always.
All right, everybody, that's it. There's your Trump Live.